Okay, good evening and welcome to the Town of Eastchester Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for May. Today is Tuesday, May 14, 2024. We begin our meetings with a Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I usually take this time to go over the ground rules for the meeting and go over the calendar. So first things first, our meetings are conducted under Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Order. There are others like Cushing, but most government and quasi-government agencies obey Robert's Rules of Order. And a couple of highlights. Number one, action is taken based upon motion, resolution, and vote. And the public and board members, et cetera, are free to address certain issues and topics when recognized by the chair. There are also some rules which we'll go through when we get to the new applications. I'll explain that when we get to that point. Also, no new correspondence is accepted after the close of the public hearing. This is important because, certainly post-COVID, we've seen a lot of the public commenting by email, and those emails, although they're not read into the record, are part of the record. But once we close the public hearing, any commentary, emails, letters, post-closing are not part of the record. They're not considered. They're not distributed. So nothing after the public hearing is closed is accepted. Also, we post our calendar a year in advance. We meet generally the second Tuesday of every month. I mention this because as a term and condition to every application is that applications that are on the first time are not decided upon. It gives the public a right to be heard. It gives the board an opportunity to individually deliberate because board members review the applications, frequently visit the site, and then we have the applicant given an opportunity as well as the public to be heard. So our calendar is published in advance. We meet 11 times a year. We don't meet in August, and sometimes meetings are adjourned based upon calendars. So if you're considering an application, you want to move as quickly as possible. Next, we have a 4-member board tonight. Member Paul Weber is not here this evening. He suffered the loss of his mother, so we wish him our condolences. And as far as the board resolutions are concerned, tonight with a 4-member board, that means an approval requires a 4-0 or 3-1 vote. A 2-2 vote is not a push like it is in gambling. It's known as a default denial. So just to be aware of that and when voting. So we have 4 items on the resolution calendar. We have 4 new business items. Those new business items, just so that the applicants are aware, your application and all of your submissions and exhibits are marked submitted. They are now part of the public record. You don't need to read your full application. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. I always ask applicants, simply summarize. And procedurally, what happens, the board is given an opportunity to question, sometimes comment, and then on motion, the public will be heard, and if the public has any commentary on an application, we give the applicant an opportunity to reply, and then there'll be final questions and comments by the board. So that's what we have on new applications. Now, we do have 4 items that are being adjourned on our calendar. So let me go through those. The Sprague Road, Counselor, how are you? Okay. The 4th item on the calendar for adjournment is the Sprague Road. That is adjourned to the June meeting. The Main Street, New Street application is also adjourned to June, as well as White Plains Road. Beach Street subdivision is adjourned, but I have a motion on that for resolution. I move to issue a resolution on that application at the next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kalin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, now to the resolution calendar. So I make a motion to adopt a resolution of approval for application 2408, that's Douglas Place, subject to a condition that the applicant provide tree protection measures during construction for the tree identified during the public hearing on the application. Do I have a second to my motion?
I'll second.
Okay, to the vote. Mr. Cahalan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
I vote yes. That application's been approved 4-0. Okay, number 2 on the calendar, I make a motion for a resolution of approval for application 24-09. That's Hunter Drive. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cahalan, let's go to the vote. Mr. Cahalan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
I vote yes. That application's been approved 4-0. All right, item 3 on the resolution calendar. I make a motion of a resolution approval of application 24-11, Locust Avenue. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller, to the vote. Mr. Cahalan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
I vote yes. That application's been approved 4-0. Lastly, I make a motion to adopt the resolution of approval for application 23-30, is that a 35? Yeah, 33, 2 Cross Hill Road. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Conway, thank you. To the vote. Mr. Cahalan?
No.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
I vote yes. The application's been approved 3-1. Okay, now to new business items. Again, when I call your application, just come up, give me your name and address for the record, and you can give us a brief synopsis. So, new business application 24-10, this is 3 Lucille Place. Applicant, you could come forward and give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Louis Campana, architect on behalf of the applicant. Just going to get this ready. Is the video working for the HDMI hookup? Yes. Okay. All right, so 3 Lucille is a property located in the R7.5 zone, and it is situated at the terminus of a cul-de-sac. As you can see here on the site plan, the cul-de-sac, or the right-of-way of the cul-de-sac, creates an awkward condition, in turn an awkward lot shape. That property line with the radius here actually shortens the driveway so much so that if cars were parked in tandem, the back of the car closest to the street actually projects into the street about 6 to 7 feet. That actually can be seen on the photograph on the cover letter which I sent as part of the application. The right-of-way is towards the hood of this car, or the property line. So the owner is seeking area variances to increase the width of his driveway. And in doing so, we chose the most, for lack of better terms, the most inconspicuous location, which would be an offshoot to the side of the garage, as opposed to a horizontal projection like a turnaround space, which can be seen here in the dashed line. We did study this, but it did increase the magnitude of the ask, which is why we're wrapping more to the side of the garage. The owner has 4 vehicles, one of which is stored in the 2-car garage. The other half of the garage is dedicated to lawn equipment, bicycles, and recreational vehicle, in other words, an ATV. The other reason for the driveway width is the deficient cul-de-sac, or the paved area of the cul-de-sac. As you can see here, I did locate a 9x18 parking spot, which is one of the numerous locations where a car could park along this, along the radius here. And what that does is creates an awkward condition while backing out of the driveway. So he's trying to limit the amount of off-street parking that's required for his family and also for guests who may attend an event. Now, If this lot, for instance, was rectilinear in shape and wasn't impacted by the radius or the right-of-way of the cul-de-sac, this dashed line indicates a hypothetical straight front lot line, which in this case, we wouldn't need the variances that we're seeking, because we'd be able to fit additional cars within the driveway. Now, in terms of impact to environment or the character of the neighborhood, the current driveway does not have any drainage, so the sheet flow of water in a rainstorm just collects onto the street, into the cul-de-sac. We're implementing drainage measures, strip drain with Coltec drainage gallery on site. In terms of the character of the neighborhood, I did do a driveway width analysis. This is an aerial photograph of the immediate neighborhood. Here, this is the subject property right here. I don't know if you can even see. Oh, I don't know if you can see, but anyway, yeah, here you go. There's several driveway widths in this immediate area that do not conform to the maximum 20-foot width. For instance, at the end of this block, specifically on Lucille, there's a driveway with a 30-foot width. Just around the corner on Pasadena, there's one with 36-foot 8-inch width, and then another 34-foot 5-inch width. So these conditions do exist in the area. Again, Nancy Place, which is located here, we have a 36-foot 7-inch width. So we're trying to stay within those parameters. We are proposing a 37-foot 3-inch width, 37-foot 3 3/4. So, believe that's all. The existing property is existing non-conforming in terms of lot coverage, and we would be adding to that, but we would be also accommodating with drainage, proper drainage.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. I'm going to turn it over to the board for questions or comments, but before I do that, we have many parking and curb cut issues that come before us, and the board is very concerned about precedential value because Eastchester is a mature community in many locations. Even a 2 or 3 foot variance on the width of a driveway can create parking loss on a block. Is it part of your presentation that it's a little bit different here because of the fact that it's a cul-de-sac?
It is a cul-de-sac, and this is the last property on the cul-de-sac that terminates or begins at the termination of the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Back. Yeah.
Okay. I'll allow the board to ask questions and comments. Mr. Cahalan?
Yeah, thanks. So I was up there, and my first question was, where is the lot line? Because when you drive down the street, you end up in a driveway,
Right.
right? So, which brings me to a point that I knew you were going to make because I saw your application. The house on the right-hand side of the street, that driveway is huge, and it looked like if that was the line, that's already in your property line, it looks to me. That apron comes way out.
Yes.
You know, so that's, you know, something I was gonna ask the building inspector to look at, because I don't think that's by right either. I think they just built it. And as far as the other, you know, ones that you point out, I always wonder whether variances granted on those as well. The other thing is you can fit 4 cars in that driveway right now, easily. You got 1 in the garage, and you could put 3 outside, no problem, without that spot that you're requesting. So you're creating condition to ask for impervious surface when you really don't need it. You really have a 4-car driveway right now, the way it sits. Yeah, it would be difficult to move things around, right? But you can create that, and you do have, I parked my car in front of the house yesterday. So, you know, and I don't have a small car, and they fit. No one's coming down that street except somebody who lives on it, really. So the condition that you're asking for, you know, to me is a lot to ask for. Have you considered on the variance using materials that would be less, you know, more friendly for water, like the the new pavers that they have that have grass in between, because you do have a nice lawn there that you're tearing up. So, you know, if we were to consider this, I would think at a minimum, that type of material would be required. It's been effectively used in town already. So, I mean, but your argument to me doesn't hold water. It's a four-car garage, a four-car driveway right now. Regardless of the lot line, you can put 4 cars there and no one's gonna bother you. So, that's my comment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cahalan. Mr. Miller?
No questions or
Mr. Conway?
comments.
No questions.
I don't have anything at this time. I make a motion to open the public hearing on this. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone from the public like to be heard on this application? Okay, seeing nobody, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, back to the board. Mr. Cahalan?
Nothing.
Anything further? Mr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing for me.
Okay, I don't have anything. I make a motion to resolve this matter at the next meeting, and I thank you for your application.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy the evening.
Okay. Actually, that was procedurally incorrect. Let me make a motion for resolution at the next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr.
Sorry about
Chairman,
that,
did
Jets.
we approve the minutes?
Ooh, we did not.
I don't think we did. No, it's not for you, I'm sorry. I'm just taking something out of order, out of sequence. My apology. Thank you for catching that, Mr. Cahalan. For the Rangers in the third period, I'm asleep. I make a motion to adopt the minutes from the April meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Cahalan. Okay, back to our calendar. Second item of new business, this is Hickory Hill Road, 24-12. Name and address for the record, and please proceed.
Good evening, Chairman, board members, town staff. My name is Joe Fernandez. I'm the architect for the project, 575 White Plains Road, Eastchester, New York. So we have a home that's been recently purchased, kind of in disrepair for many years. We have a building permit as of this point to do some interior work, and we are proposing to create a small family room here in the back and a deck. And the family room, we designed it to be a 12-foot wide space, which is kind of a standard size room. And the deck, we have an 8-foot section that goes beyond the setbacks, and the town allows 6. So we were just looking for a modest deck for a table, some chairs. And that's essentially it. It's not a lot of heavy lifting that we're looking for here, but it will add a big benefit to my client. I did also take some photos, which I believe were part of the record. These photos are from the back of the home looking towards our neighbors in the back. And we have this huge fence, and they have a raised deck, which is probably about 8 feet off the ground. So our family room being a one-story structure, and I'll show you another picture in a moment, I don't believe will even be seen. This is looking towards the other neighbors on the other side. And again, this was from the other side of the house to look up at where they have this deck. And lastly, I'll just note for the board, this is what's existing. There was a covered porch here and sliding door from the basement, which was never filed for. It's going to be removed, and that's where we'd like to put that family room. with the deck alongside.
Okay. Is that?
That's it.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, so the board at this time, if you have any comments or questions, Mr. Cahalan?
No disrespect, but your plans could do a better job of delineating that. I was looking at these things, and it took me to page 8 of the plans to find where you were gonna put your extension and your deck. So if you're asking for those extensions in the future, give it to us up front, so we know where to go. I'm searching around and stuff, you know, to see that. It was in the middle of your, middle of the plans, you know, like,
Yeah,
we're
it's
not
not-
planning and zoning, I don't care about all that pretty stuff that you're doing to the house. That's great, but I cared about the back and I cared about the side, and it took me a while to find it. So, and, you know, I know I'm not the brightest guy up here, but you should put that, if that's what you're gonna do, put that up front, would you? Okay, that's just my comment, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else?
No, nothing
Mr.
else.
Miller?
Nope, none.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing for me.
No, I don't have anything at this time. I make a motion for the public hearing to be open on this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Gill, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone from the public like to be heard? Okay, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second? Mr. Cahalan? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to the board. Mr. Cahalan?
Nothing.
Mr. Miller?
Nope.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing for me.
Okay, the only thing I could say is that I reviewed your submission and your presentation, and you seem to meet the 5-part test to my satisfaction. I make a motion to resolve this matter at the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good
Okay.
night.
Take care.
Aye.
Okay, next new business item, number 24-13, that's 20 Dogwood Drive. Name and address for the record, and please proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Leonard Brandis for Brandis Architects, 2 Spencer Place, Scarsdale, New York, representing my clients at 20 Dogwood Drive. The existing house at 20 Dogwood Drive was built in 1931, predating the existing current building code. The side yard over here is only 9.2 feet, whereas a 10-foot setback is required. This has a full stone foundation on it right now, and to take down the foundation to do a setback would be a bit of a problem, a lot of extra cost. We're planning on enclosing the existing 1-story building that's over here, that's a screened-in porch, and kicking out along the same setback line 3 feet 2 inches to make the space a little bit bigger. The house itself is a one-family, 1.5 bath, 3 bedrooms. So it's very tight right now, and to bring it up to today's standards, we feel it's necessary to enlarge the house just a little bit. Here's the existing enclosed porch that we're talking about. You can see the stone foundation underneath here. That goes throughout the whole house there. So we're trying to just continue that one. There are neighbors' houses over here as well. Can keep it up on the board. Neighbors have, this is the backyard over here. There are people across the street. This is next door to the house over here with its extensions. The house over here on the side. This one's the neighbor to the right side, and you can see there's a large extension with a screen porch, which less than 10-foot setback as well over there. So we're not doing something that's unusual for the neighborhood. Now, I just want to go through the plans. So, on the first floor, by taking this area over here we're talking about, and once again, it's just a small strip, 0.8 inches, that's not meeting the setback. And we're going to want to enclose this area over here to create a small den for the house, to add a little bit more space. The house has a nice open kitchen family room already. That's been done legally in the past. And to add the den would make a lot more room for the house for future and for their kids that they have now. This is the second floor where the roof structure is over here. And these are the 2 bedrooms, this one being the primary bedroom that they're using. And by enclosing this area over here, I'm able to put in a walk-in closet, a full bathroom over here with a shower, and now add another closet to this bedroom. So it really improves the house in many ways. Elevation, this is the existing elevation right now, and we're doing this just to go in the same style, keeping the same lines of the house, going to the side yard, matching this up so it matches the same roof lines and pitches of the house right now, and creating a new closing in the side porch over here with some windows and panels underneath, and no changes over here. And this is just the other changes on the other side of the house, in the back of the house right now. So it's right now over here, and we'll just be expanding this up along that side of the house as well. And we don't feel that this would make any major changes to the neighborhood. We feel it's within reason of the 5-part section, which I did mention in my letter. I don't think I have to re-go through that. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Let me go to the board for questions, possibly comments. Mr. Cahalan?
None.
Mr. Miller?
None.
Mr. Conway?
None.
I don't have anything at this time. I make a motion to open the public hearing on this. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller, all in favor? Aye. Okay, would anyone from the public like to be heard on this application? Okay, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, because I have to the board. Mr. Cahalan?
Nothing.
Mr. Miller?
Nope.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing.
Okay. Again, I've reviewed your application, and you've certainly met the 5-part test to my satisfaction, including the fact that it's really not substantial. It's almost as of right. So I make a motion to adjourn your matter for resolution at the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Aye. Thank you for your
Thank you
application.
very much.
Okay. Last item on the calendar tonight is new item number 24-15. This is Glen Road. It's 7:45.
Good evening. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing Mr. and Mrs. Guido, the owners of the subject property. We are requesting area variances to legalize an existing enclosed front porch at 42 Glen Road. And then the front porch is highlighted on the survey in yellow. Mr. and Mrs. Guido purchased this property over 30 years ago. And recently discovered that there was an open violation for an existing non-conforming enclosed porch. The existing front porch was approved and constructed with permits in 1946, and then was later enclosed by a previous owner without the proper permits. The existing enclosed porch is currently non-conforming with respect to the front and side yard setbacks. So we're requesting 2 area variances. The first is for the front yard, where the existing is 14.46 feet and the required is 30 feet, a deficiency of 54 feet. The second variance is for the side yard setback, where the existing is 4.1 feet and the required is 8 feet, a deficiency of 3.9 feet. The 1-story covered porch was approved and constructed over 70 years ago, and the enclosure has not changed the setbacks, the size, or the massing of the existing approved open porch. The porch was enclosed by a previous owner and has existed for many years. Allowing the enclosed porch to remain will not have any negative impact on the character or environmental adverse impact on the environmental or character of the neighborhood. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Yanacito. To the board, Mr. Cahalan?
Only to mention, since it's been there for so long, I agree with Mr. Yanacito, there's no impact here. I mean, it's substantial percentages, but, no one's gonna know, except it's gonna look nicer, so.
Thank you, Mr. Cahalan. Mr. Miller?
No comments.
Mr. Conway?
No questions, or
I don't-
no comments or questions.
I don't have anything either. I make a motion to open the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Seeing nobody, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Mr. Hafter, Mr. Cahalan,
Nothing.
Mr. Miller,
Nope.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing.
Mr. Yanacito, you've addressed the 5-part test to my satisfaction. I make a motion to adjourn this matter for resolution at the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yanacito, for your presentation. Okay, all that's left is a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. The next meeting is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
I think we're still on.